Hello everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Odoo functional training section in openhrms, the most advanced open source HR management software. So hope everyone can hear my voice clearly. If you find any difficulty, please let me know in chat or just raise your hands, which you can find on right side of your screen. So today we will be looking into the payroll module, then employee transfer, how to make employee transfer from one company to another company, then how to manage employee expenses, then reminders, then other small modules. So last day we have seen how to create employee and how to create their contract, then how to create a new utterance type or a leave off types and how to mark utterance, etc. So if you have any clarification or if you have any doubts, you can just directly ask through the chat option available, which you can find below your screen, bottom of your screen. Or if not, you can just send us a mail in odoo@cybrosys.com or info@openhrms.com. So let's see how to create a payroll, salary structure, and how to map a salary structure to particular employee, and how to create a payroll for a individual employee, and how to create a batch payroll. So to create a payroll, to generate a payroll, normally we have to go to the payroll session, payroll module. So you can find the payroll module here. So under payroll module, you have three menus, that is employee payslips, payslips batches, then configuration. So normally all the payslips which you have already generated can be viewed here. So this is on the employee. This is not the batch payslip. This is just an individual employee. So you can find one employee here. Is a salary reference number, then employee name, then payslip name. By default, Odoo will take, or the openhrms will take the this will be the payslip name. So normally the payslip name will be salary slip for employee name for which month you are generating the payslip. So if required, you can just change at the time of generating the payslip. You can find the from date, to date, then status of that one. So it is in draft state or generated. And you can find the company options, from which company this is created. So right now I have here activated the multi-company option. That's why it's showing the company. If not, it would not be showing you. And you can find here search options. Then we have this is the list view, as we discussed earlier too in many other modules. Then we have a Kanban view. So normally in Kanban view, you can just find it as a card. So normally all the employees payslips cards will be shown here. So it will be having all the basics details like employee name and from date to date, etc. Then we have some filter options here. So whenever you require to filter some done payslip, that is a completed payslip, generated payslip, you can just select the done. So right now I don't have any done payslips here, that is completed payslips here. So it is not viewing it here. Then we have a add custom filter. So normally if there is any filters to be customized option, you can just use this custom filter and you can select the options available under that. Then we have a group by. So the filter and group by is almost the same, but in filter it will be showing only that one, but in group by it will be showing based on the groups. For example, if I select the employee here, so it will be showing all the employees payslips here. So let's see how to create a employee payslip. So normally this is an individual payslips. So you can use this option if you are creating an employee wise pay slips. So go to the payroll, then employee pay slips, then create. So once you have selected an employee here, for example, I am just selecting Mr. John here. So by default, the current month date will be available. That is the from date and to date will be available, first of that month and last of that month. Then you can find the contract for this particular employee here. So normally John contract, I have saved it the name of John. Then if required to add any reference, you can just add the reference here. Then the salary structure. So normally this everything should be added in the contracts and employees. Then we have a payslips name. So by default, it will be, as I informed, it will be taking payslips of employee name. Then for month, which month you are generating, it will be showing based on that one. Then we have a work day. So normally what are the work days for this employee, it will be showing here. So right now John doesn't have any work days that's inputs that is like unpaid leaves or something like that, so it will not be showing it here. So we will see it later once we have generated this employee details. Then under salary computation, you can find all this computed details. So I haven't computed this one payslip for this employee. So I'm just clicking compute sheet. Just a second. I'm just selecting the salary journal. Compute. So here I have computed the payslip for this. So right now the employee is absent for I haven't marked the attendance, so that's why it's not showing any attendance, or I haven't marked any leaves or anything. So we will have a live scenario of that one, and we will see this later. So right now just I'm giving a basic introduction about this payslips. So you can find the under the salary computation, so you can find the basic salary. So this is the basic salary. So this is the amount which we have provided in the contract. So if you want to check on that one, you can just go to the contract. Under contract, you can find the wages. So here the wages is taken as the basic salary. Then HRA, diurnal allowance, what all the amount you have provided in the contract, it will be taking it here, computed to here. Then other allowances, travel allowances, meals allowances, medical allowances, leave salary. So normally if there is any leave salary for this employee, it will be computed here. So normally this is nothing but vacation. This is managed for the vacation. So there is two ways to manage the vacation in OpenHRMS. That is, one is through a different salary structure. The another one is from the salary rule. You need to keep a new vacation time off, and based on that you need to compute the salary. So we will see that later once we have gone through this one. Then we have the gross salary. Then we have an insurance amount which should be deducted. So this is entered in the insurance module. So we have provided 50% for the company, 50% company share, and 50% as employee share. So in that case, that 50% will be deducted from this employee payslip. Then we have a loan and advance salary. So normally if anything loan is we have applied, that employee have applied for any loan and we have approved that one, that is computed here. That total amount will be computed here. Then advance salary. Advance salary is also like same like loan. So normally if we have computed provided any advance salary, we can enter in the employee advance salary option. So that details will be taken into the amounts here. Then we have a net salary, the total, that is the gross salary minus deductions. Then we have a detailed by salary rule. So you can find all the categories and name of that salary, that is the rule name, everything you can just find it here. Then its code and total amount. Then we have a accounting information. So normally in the accounting information, you will be having the company name, or if you require to add this into a batch payslip, you can just select that batch payslip and you can select that payslip. Then we have an option of date of accounting. By default it will be selecting the current date, so when you confirm it will be selecting. Then the salary journal. So normally the salary journal is set in the employee master, so that will be fetched here. Then the accounting entry details will be available here once you confirm this one. So I'm just saving this one. So I have created a payslip for this one. So you can find in other inputs, that is the deductions, what all the deductions should be made for this person. That is, loan is 0, salary advance is 0, insurance amount is 41.67. so this is, you can find that this is deducted from the salary. So I have a, I'm just confirming this payslip. So you can create employee salary from here. So you can select the employee. So I'm just selecting John. Michelle admin. March 31st. So right now I already computed salary for this employee, so it will not be showing any worker days here. So if required, we can just go to the leave and apply some leave for this employee and mark some attendance. So I am just generating payroll for the month of February here for demo purpose. So let's go to the attendance module. I'm just creating regularization for on-site test. Michelle admin from date, just providing from June to 20th. Then 24th I will be marking as an February 20th. So I have marking just attendance regularization for this employee. So I'm just saving, submit. So I'm just approving that one. So the attendance is marked for this employee. So next I'm going to the leave module, that is time off. And just applying a leave for this employee. I'm just creating a leave. So I have a paid leave. So I'm just selecting here an unpaid leave. So going to February. So I am just providing 25th to 26th as leave in the month of February. So that is 2 days. I'm just going to the payroll module, create Michelle admin. So I'm just changing the date to February. So now you can find the normal working days. That is the code is work 100. So how many days he have worked? So total 18 days he have been worked. Then unpaid. So how many unpaid leave he have? So 2. So normally based on this, you can just create a salary rule. For example, if you want this employee to be provided only for this 18 days, that is this is the normal working days. So 18 days he have been worked. So you can find the total here, that is total hours. So per day 8 hours it will be calculated. So it will be 128 hours total. Then 2 days is normally leave, then 16 hours when computed in hours. So you can just take this to the salary rule and compute salary based on this one. So right now I have generated just a basic one. So you can find, I will show you a compute sheet here. So here you can find basic salary. So basic salary is 10,000, which we have provided in the contract. So here I just want to change this one to different thing. So here unpaid leave, I will be creating a new leave. So this unpaid leave, the code is unpaid. So I just want to create a new salary slip for this employee, detecting this 2 days for this 2 days leave. So I'm just selecting this unpaid leave. So for that, just go to the salary rules. You can find the salary rules here. All the rules will be available here. So I'm just selecting salary rules from here, just creating a new salary. Create unpaid leave. So normally this will be a detection. So I'm just selecting as a detection. Then code for this one, I'm just giving as a unpaid. Then this weekends. So this should be always true. Or we have an option called range. So normally you can just provide the range between the basic salary is between some ranges or something like that. Or if you can just use the Python expression. So I'm here using the Python expression. So either here the result equal to the result is equal to worked underscore days So I'm just providing the code name here, unpaid. So US capital. So this will take, if this particular field is present, then it will be computed. This salary payroll will be computed. If not, this will not be computed. Then the Python code here we have to provide as result equal to worked underscore days dot unpaid dot number of days. Into it is multiplied into the basic salary or the wages. So normally we can just use the basic salary here. So we'll provide the details. So let me check the basic salary. So the rule is basics. So I'm just copying this one. I'm just going to the unpaid leave, edit into basic salary divided by 30. So this will be computing like, so total, so whatever the results comes here. So if the employee has been applied for 2 leaves and it has been approved, so 2 days. So normally 2 days will be taken here. So 2 days into basic salary divided by 30. So normally you have one option, that is it should be divided by 30, or if you want to compute this particular fields, for example here based on this period, then you can use some customization here and you can just fetch these details to this Python code. So I have just created the rule. So let's see how it will be. So I'm just going to the already existing one. I'm just selecting edit. Yeah, before adding this, I want to add this to the structure. So I'm just opening the structure, going to the employee structure, payroll structure. Configuration style structures. So I have a one new structure here. So I'm just selecting this unpaid leave here. So I have selected the unpaid leave to here. Now I just selected the unpaid leave. So now you can see the details here. So before adding this one, just let me delete this one. Set to draft. Salary computation is empty. Okay, compute. Okay, let me check the roles here. underscore days dot unpaid dot number of day into basic divided by 30. So by mistake I have given the day, so normally it is day. So now you can find the normal working days, then unpaid leaves as 2. So when I compute the salary, so unpaid leave has been taken here. So normally the 2 days salary will be, per day's wages will be like 333 something. So for 2 days it will be computed as 666. So likewise you can just add as many as leaves like you need, or if you want to manage vacation management like this, you can just create a new leave type with the code vacation management, and you can just compute it from the salary rules. And if you want to change this to be like a per day salary, you can just use this for that one. So let's check how we can manage that one. So for that I am just creating a new salary, or just editing in the existing one. So salary structure, salary rules, basic salary. So here the code has been given as just contracts dot wages. So I am changing it to worked underscore days dot work 100 is the code here for this one. So this already been hard coded in the program, so you can use this code. Code dot then number underscore of underscore days. So now normally it is taken as the daily. So normally whatever the salary what we give in here in the contract, it will be taken as the per day salary and it will be computed. So just providing into contract dot wages. So I'm going to this particular employee contract. I'm changing the contract as per day salary. So per day I'm just giving as 100. contract dot wage. So now you can find the leaves here, that is basic salary is computed based on the present days. So normally if the employee's attendance has been marked, then it will be computed. So likewise, if you want to provide an employee the full salary, you can just select on the basic. So likewise, you can just go to the salary rule and change the basic rules to contract dot wages. So by default, all what are the amount you have provided in the contract, that is you can find the details here in the employees. So let me take the employee first. So you can find the details here in the salary information. So wages, so this will be taken as the monthly wages. So based on this one, you can just configure your the process which you are following in your organization. So before configuring this one, you need to know the details about the salary, how the salary structure and the salary rule will be working. So likewise, you can just, this is the case of the single employee. So if it is you want to create a batch wise pay slips, you can just select the batch slip and create, then select the name, provide a name. So Feb salary. Before I am adding this one, I'm just going to the salary structure and changing the rules which I have provided in the basic salary. So I just want to take the contracts.wages as by default. I'm just selecting the employee. So when you select the generate payslip, it will be allowing you to add the multiple employees. So you can just select the employees which you need. So I'm just adding some employee because I haven't created any contract for other employees. So just adding some employees here. Then John. So I'm just saving that one. So I'm just clicking on generate payslip. So the payslip has been created right now. So it is right now in draft stage. So I'm just saving that one and clicking on. Now you can find all the employees payslips here. So once you have created the payslips, then you can find the details, all details here. So the payslip batches will be listed here and payslip of individual employees will be listed here. So you can find the two payslips which right now we have created, that is in payslip batches. So if you go to that particular batches, you can find the accounting details like payslip batch, which payslip it belongs to, everything in the accounting information tab. Now let's see the salaries configuration menu. So under configuration menu, we have the salary structure, then settings, salary rules category, then salary rules, then contribution register, then contract advantage templates. So let's see what is salary structure. So salary structure is nothing but the structure which you will be having in your company. So normally there are many organizations who have different salary structure for different departments. So in that case, you can just create as many as salary structure you required. So each one's calculation will be different. So normally the operations team will be having, or the manufacturing industry will be having per hour or per day wages based on salary structure. So if so, we can just create a new salary structure from here. So let's see how to create a new salary structure. So I'm just creating a new structure here, new structure. So if this is a parent of any other structure, you can just provide. If not, you can just leave it as empty. Then we have a reference. So normally what will be the reference? So I'm just providing new for a new structure. In that name I'm just providing the new. Then we have to add the salary role. So you can find all the salary roles which already available, but here in my case we want to create a new salary structure. For that purpose I'm just creating a new salary role. So the name as basic for new salary. So here new salary is the salary structure name. Just for understanding, I'm just providing as a basic for new salary. So then the category, to which category it is normally belongs to. So normally this is a basic salary. So we have multiple categories here, like basics, then allowance, then gross, deduction. So normally this is a basic salary. So based on this one, we can provide the allowances, etc. So if you have provided multiple rules under a single category, we can just take that category into the structure. I mean, in the Python code, we can take that basic or the allowances, etc. to the Python rule. So based on that, we can just configure 95% of all the salary process here itself. So I'm just adding it as a new salary structure, and I'm just providing the sequence. So based on this sequence, it will be listing in the payslip. So it is always true. So if it is a fixed amount or Python code. So I'm just providing as a Python code. So here it is, contract.wages. I'm just changing it to worked underscore days dot work. So I'm just taking it as a contracts.wages. Contract.wage. Then we have some other child rules here. So if you want to differentiate this one, so under what all the child available for this particular category or a particular salary role, you can just add it here. Then we have accounting tab. Then for we can just select the debit and credit account for this one, for this particular salary account. Then we have inputs. Then we have the description for this rules. So I'm just adding the basic salary here. Then we can just create a allowances. So I'm just selecting categories allowances. Then code ALL is just providing a basic code for this one. Then if it is a fixed amount, or I am just giving the percentage. So contract, I'm just taking a percentage of contract.wages. Contract.wage. Then I am providing the percentage, so I'm just selecting as 50% right now. Save and close. So I have added this one. Then I need to add the gross salary and net salary. So this already been available in the demo data. You can just add this one. So normally it will be adding this basic salary and allowances. So you can find the rules here, categories.basic plus categories.allowances. So for the net salary, you can find it will be detecting the detection category. So you can find the code it is here, category basic plus category allowance plus category detections. So I'm just saving this salary new structure. So I'm just going to an employee payslip and creating an salary for Michelle admin. So here you can find multiple salaries here. So I have already selected base of new structure for this employee, but here I want to just compute a payslip for different structure. So I'm just selecting using this new structure here. Then compute. Under salary, you can just find the basic salary. So basic salary, what we have provided, that it will be taken here. Then the gross and net salary. Likewise, you can just create a multiple salary. So this salary structure we are setting, we have to configure a basic salary for every employee. So it will be easy to generate the batch payslips. So for that purpose, you need to go to the contract module of that particular employee. Then you can find the salary structure. So this is a mandatory field. So you need to set this structure here. So this will be taken here. And there is one more thing we have to consider whenever creating a payroll. That is, that particular employee should have an contract. If not, you cannot generate the payslip. So I'm just giving another employee who doesn't have the contract. So this employee don't have any contract. You can find the details here. So you cannot make a salary generation for this employee. You need to select an contract for this generation. So for this employee, we don't have any contract here. So even if you have a contract, and that contract should be in running state. For example, for Michelle admin, we can take. So Michelle admin, the contract is already in running state. You can find it is running state. So I'm just changing it to new and I'm just saving it. So when you click on the compute sheet, it will not be computing the details because you will not be having some details because this will be in running state. So we have to note that we have to put the contract in running state to generate a payroll. So these are the basic details in the payroll. And if you want to generate the payroll slip, that is pay slip, you can just go to this print option. You can find their pay slips. You can just download it from this button. So we have two types of reports here. That is, one is the pay slip and another one is pay slip details. So if you want to group this payslip on batch basis, you can just create the batch wise payslips group by based on that one. If you want to view based on the employees, you just can view based on the employee by using this group option. So the next option what we have in OpenHRMS is transferring an employee to another company. So normally you will be having an transfer menu here, so you can install the app called employee transfer. So OpenHRMS branch transfer. So this already have been installed, this one, so not required. If you have not installed, you can just use the app store and install that one. So if you go to this transfer, you can just find all the created transferred employees here. So we have filter option, group by option, and to add the favorite details. So we can also download the data which we are seeing in the screen by using this download button. So you can create a new employee transfer here. So I'm just transferring this particular employee. From this particular employee is right now working in my company. So I'm just transferring this employee post dated. For example, I'm scheduling it for later, that is April 1st. So transfer to which company you need to transfer. So you can just find here the drop down what are the companies you have installed here or created here. So I'm just selecting the my company Chicago, then transfer. So the employee has been transferred. So I have transferred this employee from my company to, sorry, I think I have created a wrong entry. Let me see one more. From San Francisco to, I'm just changing it to Chicago. Save, transfer. So the employee has been transferred. So if you go to the Chicago company, so the person who have access there, so their default company should be my company Chicago. If so, they can just complete this process. So I'm just going to the settings, users. I'm just changing the admin default company as my company. So I'm going back to the transfers. So now you can find an option called receive button here. So this, from that particular employee section, they can just receive this particular employee. So right now I have multiple access, this way it's showing the company access error. So by default it will not be showing it. So the next option what we have is the expense module. So we can just add the expense of an employees from here. So for that you need to go to the expense menu. Then from, if you want to create your own expense, you can just go to the my expense and create a new my expense. So we have already submitted some expenses here. So I'm just creating a new expense here. So I'm just adding an travel expense. So I'm just need to select the travel expense product. So normally air flight I'm just selecting. So air flight is a service, you can just find it from here. So it is in service. So unit price, normally how much I'm just going to reimburse this one. Then the quantity, so normally how many persons, or it depends upon your company, so you can just add it as by default based on the quantity or just a value or something like that. Then bill reference number, so if you have any reference number you can just enter it here. Then the date, So date can be changed. By default, the current date will be taken. Then the employee. So normally your name will be selected here, because whoever have been logged, their name will be selected here. Then we have a two option, that is this is a company expense or this is an reimbursement. So if it is a company expense, you can just mark it as company expense. If it is not a company expense, reimbursement, that is the employee has been expensed from spent this amount from his own pocket. In that case, it can be reimbursed from the company. So in that case, you can just select the employee here. Then you can just also add some documents, some proof documents if required. So I have saved one expenses. I'm just taking a duplicate of that one again. So I'm just selecting travel expense 2 and the amount is 1,000. So there are many expenses will be in a month, so you can just create all expenses here and you can create the report. So here you can find for the month. So I have to provide the expense summary here. So this month, for the month of March, admin. So I don't have any manager, so it will not be selecting any manager. So if I have any manager set in the employee, so it will be selected here. So for his approval, already the existing travel expense is added, and you can also add the other travel expense which you have already created. So I have just added another travel expense here. So I'm just saving this one, and if required, you can just attach the document, and the documents which you have already attached in this, you can just find it here. The next thing is to submit to manager. So once it is submitted, the manager who have been selected here, they will be having an approve option for this one. They can review the same and approve this one. If not, they can refuse it. So before approving, there will be an option to reset it to draft. So if you require to edit anything, you can just go to the reset option and you can just edit it and again submit to the manager. So once it is approved, then the next options will be for the accounts persons. So normally it should be post a journal entry. So in our other info, you can just find the expense journal. So if you want to change or set anything expense journal, you can use the expense journal here and post entries. So once it is post, the next option is this should be paid to the employee. So for that purpose, you have a register payment option here. So you can just click on that one and it will be redirecting you to the payment register. So you can just select the partner. So normally the employees may be expensed for some of your clients, so that you can select this one. If not, you can just select the employee name here if they have account, so if they are in your contacts. If not, you can just enter it based on if you are providing to any others. Then we have a payment method, so bank or cash. The total amount is shown here, then the payment date and validate. So now this expense have been paid. So under the my expense, you can enter all the individual expenses here. Once you have entered all the individual expenses here, then you can go to my expense report and create a new expense report of the all existing or available expenses. Then if you are a manager who have the access to approve this one, so then you will be having expense report. Under expense report, you will be having to approve. So whenever you go to this mode option, you can find all the pending details. For example, here you can find office furniture. So this is to be approved. This report has to be approved. So as if I'm the this user is the manager, it will be asking for an approval from this user. So all the approved expense report which is to be approved can be found here. So you can use this expense report option. Then we have a reporting. So under reporting you have an expense analysis. So as we seen in any other module, here too we have a graph view, pivot view, list view, and Kanban view. And the last is list, the activities view. So if you want a list view, based on list view you want to filter anything, you can just use the filter or group by option. And if you want a perfect report, you can just go to the pivot view and you can just view the total expenses for each employees per month based on month or week or days, etc. So you have multiple options here. So based on this one you can just configure your expense report. Then under configuration we have settings. So normally if you want to create an expense through incoming email, you can just select this option. So you need to set up the email domains and everything here. Then we have an expense product. So what all the products you will be expensed will be listed under here. And if you require to create anything extra, you can just use this create option. So it will be created from here. So normally you can just find the product type as the service. So normally this product which we are creating under this expenses will be under the product type as service. Then we have an activity type. So as we have seen in CRM and employee everywhere, we can find this activity. So the same functionality here too. So you can just create a new salary here, activity here. Then you can select the action to perform, default user for this one. Then the model, so which model it belongs to. So normally based on this model it will be showing the reminders here. So for example here the expense report have one late activity. So it is showing here like this because I have selected here as an expense report. If it is an applicant or a contact, it will be changed to the instead of showing the expense report, it will be showing the employee, and it will be redirecting me to the employee menu. Then we can set the icons, decoration types. So normally some features will not be available as I am in developer mode. It's showing some extra fields here. So these are the options available in the expense report. So then the next thing is these settings. So if you go under settings, we have many options here. So in general settings, you can find some default Odoo settings, and plus you can find some OpenHRMS settings here. So we have an option called menu management. So if you click on this one, the menus will be arranged based on the alphabetical order. So the menus which we can find it here, right now it is not in an arranged manner, so you can just sort it out alphabetical order. Then we have a product, then volume, then multi-company. So basically this is an enterprise feature. Then we have a leaves. So when you go to the leave type, you can just find the leaves reminder, and as we have seen yesterday, the prefix and domain for that leaves. Then advanced features like employee shift management, then employee vacation management. Then we have a payroll option. Under payroll you can just choose this localization. So if you click on that one, you can find some localizations here. Under this one, based on your country, you can choose the localization. Then we have a leave salary. So normally two types of salary can be computed from here. So the leave salary should be basic or it should be gross. So based on that you can select that one. Then if you go to the employee module, you can find some skill management. So normally it will be showing the skill management of the particular employee. Then we have a presence control. So how you need the presence control. So normally it should be based on the attendance or based on the user status in the system. So if the user is logged in, then this will be considered that employees are considered as present. If not, the system will consider them as a absence. Then we have a advanced presence control. So normally based on the email sent or based on the IP address. So as per your policies, you can just use this one. Then we have a notice period. So normally notice period, this is the master notice period. So whatever you set here will be applicable to all the employee. Only if not the employee, if you have set particular notice period for that particular employee, then this will be avoided. So that under the notice period under the employee will be considered. Then we have organization chart. Then employee edition. So the employee need to edit their own data. Then some HRMS advanced features like custody management, employee checklist, lawsuits, employee insurance, resignation process, and biometric devices. So these are the options available in the settings. So if you go to the users, you can find the some of the user record rules here. So normally you can find the user types. Then if you go to the human resource, you can find officer or administrator. By default, all the users who have access to the system can see all the employees, but they cannot edit or delete any of the existing, or they cannot create a new employee there, but they can view all the details of the employee. Then we have a time off. So normally this is the attendance. Leave regarding the leave. So in 13, the leave has been changed to time off. So you can set all approver or administrator. So normally all approver will be having access to approve all the approvals which have been come for the leave, which have been applied for leave. Then we have an administrator. So administrator will be having option to create new leave types and set the other details of for that leave type. Then we have a contract. So normally contract will be accessible for the employee, administrator, and officers, but if required, you can just select the administrator. Then we have a recruitment process. So for recruitment process, we have a module, we have officer and administrator. Then we have a attendance. So manual attendance, officer and administrator are the three options we have in the attendance module. So normally manual attendance means they will be having option to enter the manual attendance. Then officer will be having access to enter all employees attendance plus regularization option. Then the administrator. So then for payroll, you can just find the officer and manager. So normally officer will be having option to create employee pay slip for individual employee, not the batches. But if you select as a manager, they can have access to all the menus which we have found in the payroll. Then we have a lawsuit. So normally in lawsuit we have only one option, that is to create new cases or file new cases. So you can just select as a manager here. So the next option, next module, we will look into the resignation process. So how the resignation process is managed in the OpenHRMS. So this will be access to all employee. So manager can approve and HR person can approve this one. So normally you can just create a So I'm just creating a new employee here. New resignation of an employee. So I'm just selecting the employee Doris Cole. So by default, all the details which we have provided for this employee will be taken here. Then the last day of this employee, so I'm just providing as 31st. So this last approved date and notice period, by default it will be taking, and this should be provided by the managers. So normally the employees will not be having access to enter this field. They will be having access to select their employees and join date. Then leave type, normal resignation, then test. So I haven't set the joining date for this particular employee. So I'm just creating a contract for this employee, Doris. So the employee contract has been selected. From the contract, it has been taken the joining date. So I'm just saving this one. So once the employee has been saved, then the manager will need to confirm this one. So before confirming, the manager has to provide the last date of this particular employee here. If you have not provided this one, test, confirm. So by default, I have just changed the company, so it is not getting done here. So here you can find the details here. So by default, the joining date will be taken here. Then once it is up, you can just confirm it, or you can just reject the same. So these are the details which we have available in OpenHRMS 13. So if you want to check the modules, you can just go to the App Store, odoo.com/apps, and you can just download the OpenHRMS core. So normally under this core, the most of the modules will be included. You can just select the OpenHRMS. So all the dependency modules will be included in this package, and if required you just want to add some other module, you can just search using the search options. So hope the details which you have provided is more clarity. So if you require any further details in OpenHRMS, you can just feel free to contact us. So we have OpenHRMS blogs in openhrms.com/blog. So if you want any clarification on that one, you can just refer the blogs, or you can also subscribe our YouTube channel for functional and technical videos. So if you want, meanwhile, if you want any clarification, you can directly send us an email to odoo@cybrosys.com. If not, to info@openhrms.com. Thanks for attending today's session. So we'll be winding up the session now.